What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Thank you for watching Sportsbook Review. This is the Jimmy the Bag Show, episode 2, live at the world-famous Dog and Bear, 1100 Queen Street West, where we do it best. Episode 2. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Our special guest comedian today, known as the Godfather of Canadian comedy, Kenny Robinson, in the house. He will be joining us shortly. I can't wait to have him on the show. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. We got Edward Solano, Paulo Marquez, Boston Nick, a.k.a. Mr. Fat Fist, joining us. Mark Unkefer, Anthony Tarango, Jason Fritz, my guy Q Peso. We've had 2 babies born while their dads were capping right beside their wives giving birth. Q Peso was the first. Matt Randall was the second. Q Peso and Von Polo. So that's 3. But Q Peso got it all started when young Lo Bagelin was brought into the world. Shout out to my guy Q Peso in the house. Mitch Bruner ready to get to work. Dan Kelly ready to go. Canadian Capper 72 said should have given out Pasternak for that multi-goals yesterday's show, not Pedersen. Still, it was a good look, Pedersen. The Canucks are a tricky cap right now, and when you have to wait for 30-minute ceremony for the Sedin jerseys being retired, it does make things a little tricky. Although the Bruins was an easy score for us, -1.5 and +125. Shout out to Rod Zawacki, liking watching the Abs over 6.5. I almost made that move. I found this NHL card pretty tricky, this big giant NHL card. That's what we're going to be doing today. We have 11 games in NHL. We have the final 2 NBA games before the All-Star break. We are going to be focusing on those 13 games. That will be our focus on the show, and then we'll be joined by Kenny Robinson. Shout out to Bobby Arms joining us, Carlos Peroj and his cheesy balls. We got Silver Gold, Paul Costa, Danny Menlo, Rye Cape, Jason Bernard, Deer Slayer Ski, Bill McHugh, Serious Business, Jeff Joseph, my guy Jeff Joseph from the 6. He's looking at the under in the Leafs game right now. Alex Guerrero says, yo, what up, low bag fam? It's the stat man. Alex Guerrero, so good to have you in the chat, giving us that statistic gold that you always do, my man. AM, Doug Barnhouse, Poker Addicted 79, a.k.a. Piker. There's Dave Burkey in the house. Dave Burke, Toronto comedian, one of the best comics in our city, in our country. Dave Burke joining us in the chat. There's Damian McCorriston, Shadow, Gerald Jones. What a great group. Let's get to work. There's Sammy B, Ron Fig, not applicable. Yesterday we smashed NHL. It's very easy. 1-0, up 1.25 units. That was a full unit bet, $200. So it paid out nicely. I got it at Bet365 at +120, paid out $240. NBA was a little trickier. 4 and 6. First off, that Magic Pistons game, which I thought was a pretty simple cap, 32-20 after the first quarter for the Magic. I'm on the Pistons team total under 99.5. I think that's going to happen. I think the Magic are going to cover the 7, and then everything turns backwards. So I went 0-2 on that spot, and it was a very disappointing start to my night in NBA. Let's go over to my tracker right now. We're going to go over all this before we break down each game, but just to go over everything that happened yesterday. Pistons team total under 99 was a loser. Magic -7, a loser. Wizards first quarter +1 cash. Wizards first half +1.5 lost. But then we start getting into some winners. We have the Pacers +103, that Charlotte Hornets, Timberwolves under 226, and the Jazz -4.5. But 4 wins and just 6 losses. We're going to put up the records in a bit. The Blazers blew up in my face, and the pace of the Toronto-Brooklyn game was much slower than I expected. There's Ron Crawford in the chat. Said spreadsheet 2-0 yesterday. Today it's Florida Leafs jersey. Not only was Ron Crawford spreadsheet 2-0, but both teams cover the puck line in gorgeous fashion. And because of that, our Ron Crawford wins the Vegas Gun Award for capping excellence. Shout out to Ron Crawford. His 2 teams on his spreadsheet combined to outscore the opposition 7-1. Too easy. We got our hockey cappers joining us. There's Mr. Gokster in the house, one of Belleville's finest, and that's easy to get on Belleville's finest list. To be honest with you, it's a dicey town. But our Mr. Gokster, he is Belleville's finest. All right, let's get to work. Big Ragu team total over 113 with the Wizards. Great job. I shouldn't have broke even with the Wizards, and I didn't. I lost the juice here. When I bet it, because I bet it after the show, I ended up taking the money lines, and they were pretty nice, +125 and +130. So although the first half lost, the plus 125 cash. So it was a slight winner when I bet it. There's Trot Wham in the house. Bookie Lover Q. Nice to be joining us. Thank you for joining us, Bookie Lover Q. You've been missed. There's Big Lucci in the house. Been a long time. Thank you for joining us, Big Luch. We got Peter Lucas, Florida Gulf Coast. Florida Gulf Coast -5 is the play of the day from our Peter Lucas. And Trotwam says, I need that award. I like it. Trotwam, you can get it. You can get that award. That award you can get. All right, I'm copying, pasting some of the action from our cappers right now. Let's get Peter Lucas's in. We got Ron Crawford's action. And here, Mitch Bruner says, my son was born. I couldn't get to my bookie. I said, put it all on my winnings from previous weeks on number 9, 23, 18, and parlay it, and it hit. Ticket is my son's baby book. It's in my son's baby book. Wow, Mitch. That's great. All right, I love that story. I love that story. All right, let's get to work and smash this NHL card. Let's start by Rafa popping up my NHL record right now. It improved slightly. I mean, you guys have watched me. This is the third year you guys have watched me. In the first 2 years, we smashed, hit a high watermark. The first year, plus 43 units. Last year, on the last day of the season, hit plus 30 units. This year has been a battle. It's been a battle. And 83 and 104. Down 5.63 units. My average line's plus 123, which allows me to hit at a worse percentage, around 44%, and still turn a profit, which is what we're not doing right now. But the one thing I can always promise you, two things. One, I will sell you nothing ever. And two, honesty and transparency. And we win together. We work together to defeat the juice. All right, let's get after it right now. We have 20 to 25 minutes before we're going to be joined by the Godfather Canadian comedy, Kenny Robinson. I can't wait to have Kenny on the show. There's Jose Felix, Poker Addicted 79. So the sharpest NBA side so far seems ULLAF plus 6.5. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste that right now. Mark Unkelfer's already got his play today in BYU minus 11.5. I'm going to copy and paste that. And there's St. Louis Elite. St. Louis Elite joining us. Man, he got us on those Blues when they were last place in the NHL, one of a handful of people who got in on them, and he is joining us right now. Says, Jimmy, back in the 6th, St. Louis Elite bomb, Blues money line. Blues money line. It's a tricky spot with the Bouwmeester cardiac situation. We're going to get into that. Just going to copy and paste everybody's action. All right, let's attack this card right now. We have to get hot, and we've done just that by getting the Bruins minus 1.5 yesterday. All right, let's start with this Jacket Sabre spot. I'm going to pull up the best odds page on the planet, sportsbookreview.com odds page, SBR odds page. Also, if you want to help this show, please hit the link at the bottom of the screen, www.sbrvideo.com/thebag. If you could click on that, that would help me greatly. Also, like and subscribe, but let's get after that cash right now. We're going to start with the Jacket Sabres. This Jackets team was an under gold mine for us, right? 4 straight unders, way under, very, very easy. But they have no more Seth Jones. Seth Jones could be the Norris Trophy winning defenseman this year, although Werenski, his partner, takes a lot of his thunder because he's been so spectacular offensively. But it's Seth Jones. He's the straw that stirs the drink with the Jackets. He does everything. He's tall. He's got length. He's got size. He's got speed. He can give the Chris Pronger outlet passes. He's absolutely spectacular. And I don't know how the Blue Jackets, even with Elvis Merzlikins playing the way he is between the pipes, I do not know how the Blue Jackets can make the playoffs without Seth Jones. Jason Bernard says Jackets over the Sabres. Predictions Guy says love this new format. Thank you, Predictions Guy. Wait till you see Kenny Robinson in action. Show will keep getting better. Dennis Legendary says this is a big NHL card. It is, and I love big NHL cards because it gives us lots of options. But this one I found was a little trickier. All right, let's look at this odds page right now on sportsbookreview.com and see what we're dealing with. A 5. Pinnacle has opened it at a 5. Unbelievable. Let me make sure that I am logged in here. I am. Pinnacle opener at 5. I'm shocked to see that. When was the last time we saw a 5 with these Jackets in a 5 in a Sabres game? Unbelievable. Not every other book. Bet Online is at 5. As well. With no Seth Jones, I do not want that under. They're also missing Cam Atkinson, their top sniper, with the lower body injury. They've handled the injury to Eunice Korpisalo very well. I mean, Merzlikins has been a monster. But they've lost 2 straight, both at home, 2-1 scores against the Avalanche and the Lightning. They've scored 5 goals in their last 4 games, only Bjorkstrand's rolling for them. Sabres are coming off Tuesday's 3-2 home win over Detroit. Look, I know Columbus is a better hockey team. There's my guy Jimmy Cece in the house, Clarence Davis like in the Pelicans. We're going to get into that. I think I'm going to join you, Clarence. I think I'm going to join you. Paul Costa says, "Damn, Jimmy, you're looking slim." It's the lights or some shit. I still got supple breasts under this champion shirt. Don't worry. The booze is my main diet, so don't worry about that. Nothing's changed. Eichel's gone 5 games without a goal. His player props that everybody was hammering are gone. Look, I don't want either of these two teams. I don't want the Jackets without Seth Jones. I don't want the Jackets without their key defenseman in the lineup, and I don't want the Sabres ever. I don't want the Sabres ever. There's my guy, Jansen Bonson. Q Peso says, if it was 5.5, would you take the under, Jimmy? No, I wouldn't, because it's juiced to -135. It's -140 at Heritage. If you want to take these -135s and -140s, you better be hitting at a 64% clip, or you're not going to turn a profit. And I do not want to have to be in a total situation that I have to hit 64% in to turn a profit. So no. In fact, I'd be somewhat interested in the over 5, but the Jackets don't score. All right, let's keep rolling along right now. Right now, we're going to move on to Stars, Maple Leafs. We've already heard Jeff Joseph looking closely at this under in the Stars-Leafs game. Let's look at it right here. Toronto opening up at -129. There's been a 7-cent move towards the Leafs. This total sitting at 6. There's been a 1-cent move towards the under. Rod Zawacki liking Buffalo today. Jansen says, how many watching you at the bar? It's a slow build. We got a slow build on the live show. We got Canascat in the house. We got my guy Kenny Robinson ready to come on here and rock the mic. And then we have the guys who have made this shot look so good. And that's Peter Hatch, my producer, with Brandon Zakai, my guys here in Toronto who've made this shot look so good. So shout out to those guys. That's my live audience right now. That's my live audience. Let's talk Stars, Leafs. Bishop, is this Anderson's first start after coming back from the neck injury? If it is his first start coming back from the neck injury, I would be happy to take the Stars. The Stars feel good about themselves. Jamie Benn just got a hat trick. I mean, we know that Benn and Seguin are the most important players on this team, and they've been very slow to step up offensively. Seguin doesn't have a goal in 17 games, but the Stars have won 4 of their past 6. When you see a team rolling without their best player scoring, you know they're very dangerous. And then Canadian Capper says, Radulov out for Dallas. And AM says, Jimmy, tell Canascat I say hello. Canascat AM giving you a shout out. Bookie Lover Q says, Jimmy, where are you? Looks like a mob restaurant in the movie The Irishman. This is the best sports bar in Toronto that I'm at right now. I'm at the Dog and Bear, 1100 Queen Street West. Join us. Mr. Gokster expects Anderson. Ulysses Hayes says, yes, it is Dallas moneyline and the under from our Ulysses Hayes. Yeah, I can understand backing Dallas here. I'm also very interested in watching that Leafs line of Matthews, Nylander, and Mitch Marner, like Keefe experimenting with that line. It's nice to have that, be able to experiment like that when you know you got Tavares on a second line. I mean, we saw Hyman score those 2 goals for them in their last game, 2 regulation time goals. Look, I just don't see an edge that I want to take money out of my pocket and make a bet on. I don't want the Leafs. I don't want the Stars. Let's move on to Oilers Lightning. My first thought was, wow, got to take the Lightning. But then you dive deeper and you're like, look, there's no Kucherov. He's hurt, unlikely to play. Maybe he will be in, but he's left. Both Kucherov and Cirelli left in the first period with lower body injuries in their 2-1 win over the Jackets. They haven't been playing with Stamkos. That's 2 straight games without Stamkos. So you take that off of the Lightning. You take McDavid off of the Oilers. And then what do you want? Then you just pray for a 6.5, and then you go to the Sportsbook review odds page and see, can I get a 6.5 anywhere? And no, you can't. You can only get 6s. So look, I don't – this is another spot where I wanted a 6.5. I still, if I was reaching, I would take the under 6. I can't wait to fade the Oilers against Florida, especially if Florida loses to Philly tonight. There's my guy Juan Ruiz in the house. Ulysses Hayes says Tampa Bay money line and over. I have a very difficult time trusting the Lightning offense without these 2 guys. I'm moving on. Let's go Flyers, Panthers. Hart going to be back. He came back 2 games ago. He was out for a long time with an abdominal injury, missed a month. He looked great in coming back. And we know that this is a guy that's going to move this team forward. There's my guy Tease in the house. Mr. Goger says Edmonton's still firing. Oh, we have a double taint today. The taint play of the day is in. Stetson -2, Northern Arizona +4. The double taint. I'm going to make moves on the double taint. I'm going to line shop for that very, very soon. Very, very soon. The taint is in. Matt Randall, thank you for all you do. Tease is loving this double taint. Q Peso liking Florida money line. The Flyers, I think, could become a bet on team. Bet on team. One of the things about this Panthers team and why I can't put my money on them right now is they are not scoring. Yes, they had been the best offense in the NHL. But if you saw what line was putting up all the goals against the Devils, it was that helicopter line. Achari, Matheson, and Pishik. They call them the helicopter line because there's no wingers. That's a center and 2 defensemen. They're going to lead your team in scoring, once every 25 games? They're not scoring. I can't trust them. I don't want the Flyers on the road where they're 12, 14, and 3. Let's see what this market is offering us right now here with the Flyers, Panthers. Panthers open up at minus 133. They're now at minus 120. Again, we talk about it so often. If you're going to back a road team, you have to be rewarded. You have to see a plus line there. And if the Flyers aren't going to give it to you, why take money out of your pocket and hammer it? Mr. Gokster says over. I cannot trust this Panthers offense when Huberdeau and Barkov aren't scoring. And I know intimately that they're not scoring because I have them in my hockey pool. So I want none of that. All right, let's move on to Red Wings, Devils. That's the next spot on this card. Detroit, New Jersey, bum fight. New Jersey opening up at minus 180. Can you believe that the New Jersey Devils are a minus 180 favorite? Should they be a minus 180 favorite against anybody? No. So then do you want to take the Red Wings? Possibly. Bernier's playing very well. The Red Wings get Anthony Mantha back, but they've scored 9 goals in their last 6 games. Look, this would be a Red Wing spot or nothing, but I'm not going to take a team that's 5-22-2 on the road, put my money out, and expect to find more of it. I just can't do it. There's my guy, Dylan Turner, in the house. Thank you for joining us, Dylan. Dylan out of Windsor, Ontario, joining us today. Mr. Gokster said it's hard on the road. I'm fading the guys. I'm fading. It's hard on the road. I'm fading. He says this guy is a pure sieve. That's from our Mr. Gokster. And Big Ragu on the under 234.5 in OKC, New Orleans. We're going to get to that game too. Only 2 games on this NBA card. We're going to get to that quickly. I should speed this up a little bit. Here, let me copy and paste that right there. We should speed this up a little bit. Okay, let's keep rolling through. I'm not going to sit here and say take the Devils at minus 180. I'm not going to sit here and say take the Red Wings at plus 160. So then what? Then we move towards a total, and it's at 5.5. This opened at 6 and went down to 5.5. Devils are playing okay. 6-game point streak snapped in that loss against Florida, but look, I don't want it. Canadian Capper says, who's in Windsor? You got 2 of our guys are in Windsor with you, Canadian Capper. Anthony Mastronardi and our guy Dylan Turner, both great Windsor Cappers. You guys all got to hang out together, and I will come down and meet you guys. All right, let's move on to Coyotes, Senators. You look at what the Coyotes have done on the road. Look at what they've done overall. They've lost 11-14. They're 1-6-1 over their last 8 on the road, but they're playing better hockey than that. They were unlucky to not beat the Leafs in Toronto. And that was just prior to that, they beat the Habs at the Bell Center. But do I want the Coyotes in this spot? I can understand taking them at minus 1. I could understand taking them. I really could understand taking them. This Senators team has lost 6 straight. The Coyotes know they need to win. There's been a market move towards the Senators, and the Senators have been a good home team all year. Look, they're 12-10-6. I mean, that's not good, but compared to the rest of their record, they're good. Jason Turgey says, Ottawa first period, Jimmy. Jason Turgey, when we take a team that's lost 6 straight in the first period, we have to be rewarded. I can't stress that enough. We need a giant plus line there, or at least a plus line. If we don't see that plus line, we don't make that move. It's pretty simple to me as well. And I'm going to drop my first edition. I made 3 bets before I got in here. I'm going to make my first edition. I am going to take the Coyotes on the minus 1 line. They know they need to win. They have to win to stay in this race in the Pacific Division. I'm going to jump on right now. Let's see what I'm getting on the money line first. We're going to make this a minus 1 line. If anybody needs help to create minus 1s, if their books don't give it to them, let me know. I will send it to you guys. All right, let's grab this minus 1 right now. Here we go. Arizona. I'm going to get minus 135. That's the best I can get. That's at 5 dimes and at Bet Online. Okay, so money line minus 135, and then the minus 1.5. Let's see what I'm getting on the minus 1.5 quickly here. Point spreads. This is my first edition. And Shanavy in the house. Love having you. Thank you for joining us. Okay, let's grab this right now. Danny Menlo says he looks thirsty. And one of the things when you have alcohol issues is it's difficult to work in a bar at this time. And right when Danny says he looks thirsty, I feel thirsty. But I don't want to start drinking right now. I got to stay focused. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take the Coyotes -1.5. I'm getting +200. Line shopping here at Sportsbook Review. That's available at both 5 Dimes and Bet Online. -1.5 +200. So I'll be getting a nice plus line there. And you need to. You need to. Always get as many plus lines as you can so that you can hit 45% and still have a beautiful record. Now, you guys saw me last year. My average line was much higher than it is this year because I stopped taking as many 1.5, started taking more ones. DX Filer says Ovechkin to score today. There's no Kuznetsov. I know he's going to have Backstrom, but there's no Kuznetsov. All right, Islanders +125. I already jumped on that. Islanders +125. We see these Islanders go on winning streaks and put money in our pocket. They're undervalued all the time, and I'm going to take him here. Slats45 says with you on the Yotes. I like seeing that. All right, not applicable. Talking about the hot piss again from yesterday. I'm going to pass on the hot piss today, although Rob did make it sound delicious yesterday. Rob Pugh was our comedian yesterday. All right, Islanders +125. If I wanted the Islanders right now, what would I get? +129. So market moving away from me there. It just seems like there's syndicates everywhere that see the Nashville Predators as a better team than they are, and I was like that in the offseason. I made future bets on them. I'm taking the Islanders +125. I just don't trust this Predators team. Are they going to go home and get right? Who are the guys in that dressing room that are going to do it for them? Is Duchesne going to give a speech? Is Ryan Johansson going to give a speech? None of these guys are. Yossi's the only guy doing anything for this team. I'm comfortable with the Islanders +125. I'm also on the Wild -1. Something changes in that team. And you look at the brass. You got Bill Guerin managing the team. Who's the toughest guy on the Minnesota Wild? Well, actually, they got some big boys with Greenway and guys like that. There's my guy Lamont Williams in the house. Lamont, my guy. We need your max bets, man. Lamont, you've become such a big part of the show. Thank you for watching, my man. All right. No, I did not, Dylan. We're going to get there very, very soon. Mark Unkelberg, you're right. Okay. Back to this. Wild change. They change around this time of year. And it's because they got Gabby Boudreau screaming obscenities in their face. They've got Bill Guerin as their manager. When you have a manager that can beat you up, you start playing tougher around this time of year, especially when they trade Zucker and you're like, look, everybody's vulnerable in this dressing room unless you step up. And we've watched them step up. They beat the Knights 4-0. They're going to get their shit together. I'm not saying they're going to make a playoff run, but Rangers are fat and happy off of their win in Winnipeg. I'm on the Wild -1. That's a +123 line. Money line -132 at Pinnacle and +185 at 5 Dimes. Tata Booker in the house. Thank you for joining us, Tata Booker. Hope you and Lucky Lefty are doing great. Thank you so much for joining us. Ulysses Hayes is on the Rangers money line. Look, they're playing great hockey. Chris Kreider's rolling. They're rolling. But the Wild are a physical hockey team. Do you see what they did to the Canucks last week? They're going to push these guys around. Is what they're going to do. They're going to push them around. Is what they're going to do. All right, let's keep rolling along. Capitals Avalanche. Holtby, Grubauer. I thought very hard, actually, about taking the under here. And I didn't, only because Nazem Kadri is not going to be in the lineup. But if you look at this Caps lineup, Kuznetsov is not going to be there, which means they're one line heavy offensively. I don't think, and look at what Philip Grubauer is doing. The more I talk about it out loud and say it out loud, the more I think that the under 6.5 is in play. Ovechkin has all this pressure to get to 700 goals. The more I talk about it out loud, the more I think the under 6.5 is in play. And I'm going to do just that. I'm getting a plus line here, +105 at Heritage. I love the under 6.5 plus lines. I'm going to take it right now. Under 6.5 at +105. The Avalanche have changed their game. They're playing tight defensive hockey. Capitals are coming off their second straight loss. They're not going to be playing wide open hockey. They don't have Kuznetsov. They've lost 3 of 4. Colorado's won 5 in a row, 8 of their past 9. They've allowed 5 goals during this 5-game winning streak. Grubauer's allowed 3 goals in his last 4 games. I'm on the under 6.5. That's another addition at +105. Okay, let's keep rolling. Next up, we have Blues Knights. I find this very confusing. I find the Blues Knights very confusing. Yes, Mr. Gogster, it's a 6.5, and I'm getting a plus number on the under. I love it. I find this very confusing. You're dealing with Bouwmeester, who's been, an Iron Man in the NHL, has a cardiac incident on the bench. They cancel. That's 12 minutes into the game, 12 minutes into the first period of the Ducks game. They cancel it. This is all happening while there's a dad's trip. So all the dads are going with the players. They see Bouwmeester has this cardiac issue. They bring out the defibrillator. He's better now. But are they going to play heavy? Are they going to come together? My expectation is actually that they're going to play heavy. And the Knights need this win so badly. They need this win so badly. Repulate Gaming says, where are you doing this show, Jimmy? I'm doing it at the Dog and Bear, the world famous Dog and Bear, 1100 Queen Street. Come drink with us. Come drink with us. Ulysses Hayes liking the Knights money line and the under. I understand why the market. Oh, it's actually coming back. Okay, so the market's coming back. So it's been a 2-cent move from the opening line at Pinnacle. I don't know if we're talking about what team's heart don't we trust. I don't know if I trust the Knights. This game has too many moving parts. Look, I'm off of it. I'm off of this game. Dads are on the trip with them. Bowmeister needs a defibrillator on the bench. Just keep me off of this game. Keep me off this game. Now we're going to get to the last look on this card, and I'm on it. I'm on the Ducks at plus 101. Yes, the Flames won those first 2 games without Hamonic and Giordano, last year's Norris Trophy winner. That's going to end. And we saw it end, and I said it yesterday that it was Kings or nothing, but I don't want to back the Kings. The Kings win after flying all the way back from the East Coast. I look at this spot. This is Ducks plus 101 all over it. I'm on the Ducks plus 101. Let's see what I would get right now if I could take it. I remember how much money, what's our ROI when we fade teams missing 2 of their top 4 defensemen over the last 3 years? It's enormously high. Enormously high. You can't get a plus 101 anymore. You can get a plus 100. I'm on the Ducks. That is my card. 5 games on this NHL card. I'm on the Ducks plus 101. I'm on the under 6.5 at plus 105 in Capitals Avalanche. I'm on the Wild -1 at plus 123. I'm on the Islanders money line at plus 125. And I'm on the Coyotes -1. It's a minus 135 and plus 200. So I imagine it's around plus 125 or 26. I'll have to take a look at it. All right. Let's get to work. And Mr. Go says, great look. Jimmy Talbot will be in and Gibson fresh. I like it. 5 spots on this card. Okay, let's quickly hammer this NBA card. There's only 2 games on the schedule here, and then we're going to have Kenny Robinson jump on the show. And I think I'm going to tail Taint. I think I'm going to do a little Taint tail. We've talked a lot about Taint over the years, and I think I'm going to hammer this as well. Joseph Gomez says, are there strip clubs in the area? Legs and Canadian bacon, yes, please. Yeah, very, very close to here. We just head up to Bloor Street, some of the dirtiest strip clubs you could imagine, where you can do anything you please. Anything you please. All right, let's get to work. Thunder Pelicans. Let's see what this odds page is giving us. We're moving over to NBA. So yesterday, 4-6. Rafa, could you pop up my NBA record, please? We've beaten NBA. This is the 3rd year in a row. But we don't beat NBA enough to make a living off of it, and that has not changed this season. We're up just 5.71 units. We have an ROI of plus 3.07%. We're 99 and 87, sitting at 53.7%. There you have it. All right, let's keep rolling. Danny Menlo says, isn't the tailbone right next to the taint? I don't know about right next. You know what, Danny, I'll draw you a little picture. Timothy Mitchell says, what's the taint play today? We're going to get into that very soon. Prince of the City says, is that where Max works? No, Max works at a much nicer strip club. All right, let's talk Thunder, Pelicans right now, and let's move over to the NBA side of things. Thunder, Pelicans. Let's go to spreads and totals here at sportsbookreview.com. Again, if you like the content, please hit that link at the bottom of the screen, www.sbrvideo.com/thebag. All right. Thunder, Pelicans opening up at -2, now -2.5 for the Pelicans. This total at 231.5 up to 233.5, and we've already heard from our big Ragu that he's going against this market move and taking the under. Against the market move and taking the under. Paul Costa says gut says Thunder, brain says Pelican, torn. There's Ski Profit in the house. He is backing the Thunder. Thunder pace last 5 games, 27th in the NBA. Pelicans pace first. Pelicans are 0-3 against the Thunder this year, but now they get to play them with Zion in the lineup. They're 5-4 with Zion in the lineup. He's coming off a season high, 31 points, 9 boards, 5 assists in that easy victory over Portland on Tuesday night, 138-117, 10-17 from the field, 11-14 from the free throws. Thunder have lost 2 straight. Are they going to lose 3 straight going into the break? They have leadership on this team. I can completely understand why Ski is going against this move, but I am afraid to. Brooke Jordan also on OKC. Dylan Turner says Thunder if Ingram out. You know, I don't want to get in the way of the Pelicans at home right now. And if Brooke Jordan and Ski Profit weren't on the Thunder, I'd probably be on the Pelicans. Tim Montana BX says Jimmy seems calmer. Maybe it's minus 15 that does it to me. Okay, let's move on to Clippers Celtics right now. Only 2 games left on the card. There's no need to reach because it's a small card. That's a mistake that I so often make. I so often make this mistake. Boston opening up at -1. Now we have 2s across the board. This total at 227 just jumped up. Just jumped up at a bunch of books to 229. Wow. Just as we speak, this total jumping up at 229. Clippers pace last 5, 9th in the NBA, 102.20 possessions a game. Speaking of pace, the Pelicans are getting 108 possessions a game. 108 possessions a game. We capped Detroit Pistons yesterday. They were getting 90 possessions a game. The Pelicans were getting 18 more possessions a game. Unbelievable. And Matt Randall, my guy, says the only place you can find my action is right here. Just this show, Jimmy and SPR. Some love, much love to you. Maurice Hooker liking the Clippers. Ski Prophet saying Boston and the under. Wow, Boston and the under. Celtics looking to rebound from that 116-105 loss to the Rockets. I think I like what Ski's on with this under here. This is the end of a long road trip for the Clippers. Are they going to be sprinting and running up and down the floor? Tim Montana, thank you, my guy, Tim Montana. Poker Addicted says Celtics in bounce back spot won't be stopped. Tatum has had a streak of 9 straight games of 20 or more points, busted up against the Rockets. Look, the Rockets, with their small ball lineup against the Celtics, put up 221. Why would this go up to 229? Do I want to go up against this market move? Probably not. Is Jaylen Brown going to be in the lineup? He's listed as probable. I expect him to, but he's playing beat up. Marcus Morris hasn't quite started that flow. If Beverly was in the lineup, if I knew I had Patrick Beverly's defense, I might jump on the under. Caleb Lewis says, I like the under too. How it keeps steaming. I'm going to wait. I'm going to see how high this total gets up. I'm not going to make a move in NBA. I'm not going to make a move in NBA, but let's tail the taint play today. I did not tail the taint play today, and not saying that I'm the good luck charm because it's Matt Randall that delivers the goods, but it didn't cash yesterday. It's now 10-2. It's hit 10 of its last 12 days. I'm going to jump on the taint play today right now. We're going to go Stetson -2. Let's get that right now. Command F. Stetson, where are you, baby? Let's get Stetson right now in here. Stetson, where the hell are you? Stetson, there you are. Stetson, I'm getting Stetson -1.5 at -109. Stetson -1.5. That's a pinnacle at -109. Stetson locked in. And then I'm going to jump on Northern Arizona with my guy Matt Randall. Let's see where Northern Arizona. We have a huge slate of games. Northern Arizona. Come on, where is it? Northern Arizona. Show me it. Show me Northern Arizona, please. All right, I'm going to have to look for Northern Arizona. But I'm going to add Northern Arizona to my card. Matt got it at +4. +4. Let's see if I can find it very quickly. Northern Arizona. Man, this is a giant card. All right, I'm not going to sit here and... Oh, there it is. Northern Arizona. Opened at +4.5. Money coming in on them. It's already gone to 3.5 at BetOnline. I'm going to get +4 at -102. Northern Arizona +4, -102. And there's my card. I'm going to wait to see how high that total goes up in the Celtics game. If Ski's like in the under, I agree. Prince is saying Beverly's out. Yeah, Beverly's going to be out until after the All-Star game. Caleb Lewis says, short card, bad drunk bets last night. Make it back on the taint play of the day. All right, that is our capping section of the show. Now, without further ado, thank you for watching Sportsbook Review Episode 2 of the Jimmy the Bag Show. It is my absolute honor and privilege to introduce, known as the Godfather of Canadian stand-up comedy, we have Kenny Robinson in the house. Kenny Robinson, thank you so much for joining me, my guy.
Man, you got all the numbers and facts and figures and are you still a fan, or are you just as degenerate here with all the bets?
I'm mostly a degenerate.
Yeah, I figured that.
I am mostly a degenerate. Kenny Robinson, man, known as the Godfather of Canadian comedy. First off, the show you've hosted for the last 30 years, sold out for 30 years, the hottest show in Canadian comedy, in the history of Canadian comedy, the Nubian Disciples of Pryor. Tell the low baggers a little bit about that show.
Basically, it started out as when we started, it was 25 years ago this April, we only had maybe like 3 or 4 comics of color in the whole country. So there were also the gatekeepers were kind of slow to open up the gates. So I was approached by Mark Breslin, who owns Yuck Yuck, said, could you put together a show that would change this? And I had considered doing that already because I'd done a couple of predominantly black shows with hip-hop acts, and I saw that there was a market. Then I found out there was a talent pool. So we were off and running. Our first show, we turned away 200 people, and we've been making history ever since. You know, the Raptors, we started the first same year as the Raptors. So we used to have a lot of the Raptors in the audience, and anybody that was making movies in town. We had people like Tommy Davidson come in, see the show, jump on stage. Dave Chappelle's done it while in town filming. Let's see who else we have. We had Vivica Fox and Will Smith and that crew. They were in town filming, so we had them in the audience. Zeke used to come and see all the back when he was a general manager of the Raptors before he moved on. Isaiah Thomas. So we had him in the audience many times. So we've been fortunate.
Fortunate. You guys have you've earned everything that you've gotten. Kenny Robinson also hosted the Gemini Awards in 1998. That's our Oscars. He was given the Phil Hartman Award at the Canadian Comedy Awards.
Yeah, that one makes me nervous because everybody else received it has passed away. So I thought, like, is this the Dead Man Walking Award or what? You know, so I'm still very proud of that. But it's an honor, as all awards are.
Yeah, and you've done everything. You've had your own show on the Comedy Network. You've hosted the Flow Hip Hop and R&B radio station. You were their host. You've done a lot, but you're also a giant baseball fan.
Fanatic. Hockey to some extent, but baseball been very, very good to me. That's my game. You know, that's my son's game. He's still trying on. He's still hoping he can play for the Humber. He goes to Humber College. He's still wanting to play for the Humber team. He regrets not being a pitcher now, but he was a catcher, and then knees from goaltending and catching forced him to move to first base, and now they move him all over the field now.
I've met your son. He's a good kid, man. I like him. I like him a lot. Philip Fernandez says, I miss living in Canada. We miss you, Philippe. All right, let's talk about the biggest story in baseball right now. I really want to hear your angle on it. The sign stealing fiasco of the Houston Astros. Where do you judge that in a cheating scandal in baseball history? And what do you think? Do you think that we've given them proper punishment?
Well, I mean, sign stealing has always been a part of the game. So I don't understand the whole outrage about it. You know, catchers, they go and they change their signs. They have, they learn to, as a kid, I learned that when I was watching the Chicago Cubs every day in the 60s and 70s, I learned that when Randy Huntley would sweep the ground in front of him while squatting with his mitt, that was a signal for the changeup. So I learned that at 9, 10 years old watching the game. So, I mean, signs are supposed to be stolen. That's why the coaches have so many different ones to throw them off. Now we live in a high-tech society. I mean, who remembers anybody's phone number anymore? Who goes to a bank or who writes a check anymore? Everything is automated. So the fact they figured out how to steal from cameras in the center field fence, they used to think on Wrigley that the guys were in the old scoreboard flashing signs in. So to me, it's as much of a part of the game as a spitball or foreign object or pine tar on the ball or scuffing or whatever. It's illegal, but it's just part of the game.
So you think the punishment is too much?
Oh, I mean, the coaches and general managers that were fired and involved, they'll probably never get jobs again. So in the same breath, Pete Rose is saying, hey, if these guys who cheated, if they're out, then how come I can't get back in? And I think Pete Rose is the best 3,000 hit guy that's not a member of the Hall.
I agree. So let's go to Pete Rose and his gambling. He was always betting on his team to win. Let's start talking about the Hall of Fame. Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
Well, you have to consider that when they banned gambling, Kaminsky, who owned the White Sox, he promised his players things and chiseled them and cheated them and was a tightwad. So there's a reason why they had to go in and break the sacred code and throw the game. But the game's changed since then. So is the paychecks and the salaries. So I think it's time that they make an exception. I mean, I don't have a problem with steroid hitters. After the strikes and everything with baseball that hurt, what made the fans come back? Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Palmeiro, everybody, Barry Bonds. As the Atlanta Braves used to have this the commercial slogan for when they'd advertise on Turner Broadcasting, "Chicks dig the long ball." The home run underneath the steroid era, it saved the game for us. And let's be honest, most people don't want to see a 2-to-1 pitchers duel, even though I've been fortunate to see a few of them in my life. So, I don't have a problem with, Barry Bonds. Hey, did he hit the home? Was he going to be a Hall of Famer before that? Sure, he was. The record was up there. So, it's. Maybe I'm a traditionalist. No, but I'm a minimalist. I say put him in.
So do you think that the Hall of Fame with this integrity rule is tarnishing the Hall of Fame?
I don't know about that. I mean, I think the Hall of Fame, one thing about the Hall of Fame, it's not like hockey. It still wants to be the Hall of Fame, as opposed to the Hall of Pretty Good. It seems like there's I'm always raising my eyebrows over the NHL Hall of Fame new membership every year. It's like, was he that good? Did he set it? But they slide him in. Kurt Flood. He challenged the free agency clause. He's not in the Hall of Fame. Dick Allen. I think he should be a Hall of Famer. My friend Harry Dupe, he'll argue with me and debate it and say he was very good, but not Hall of Fame numbers. So I think they may have the integrity clause, but I think of all the Hall of Fames, I think that Major League Baseball probably does have the toughest Hall of Fame to get into.
I agree. I mean,
Clemens, or the rumor or whatever he did with what he took, is Roger Clemens not a great pitcher just despite what he did?
No, I think that I don't think that human growth hormone is necessarily bad, and we had Rob Pugh talking about it yesterday about how he thinks it heals you faster from injuries if it's
but does it affect your eye-hand coordination? No. Does it give you a bit more pop? You still got to connect with the ball to make it fly.
All right, I think I agree with you. I do not think that Bonds and Roger Clemens are going to get in because there's 85-year-old white guys hoarding over the Hall of Fame as their special little club, and they don't want. They want people to be embarrassed. They want people to be called out. They sit in this holier-than-thou spot, and so I don't think they're going to get in. Do you think they're going to get in?
Probably not. I mean, they're nailed to the cross. It's it's like Sammy Sosa. I'm surprised how despised he is by many Cub fans. But there was times when Cub fans had nothing else to cheer except for Sammy hitting 3 home runs in a game that they lost 9-5. So but I think the old guard in baseball has started. I mean, with everything, the old die and the young take over. So it all matters of what they will the millennials eventually voting these players in? Yes. I'll have passed on by that time, but we'll have new players for them to consider their worthiness at that point.
I hear you. Well, let's talk about one other big thing in baseball: automated umpires, robot umpires. You're an old school baseball guy. You want them?
No. I don't even know if I like the appeal. What else? If you have a robot umpire, then you have nothing to scream and cry about for the next 30 years. Remember the umpire that made the bad call and the kid that had the perfect game and he called him out at first?
Yeah.
And every replay showed that he beat him out. Okay, so for the rest of your life as a baseball fan, you can say, remember that time when the ump blew it? Kill the umpire. You can't kill a robot. Well, I mean, unless it's Arnold. But I mean, I like it. I like the human error in effect. Otherwise, why not just have a pitching machine? So that way a pitching machine never grooves or leaves that curve hanging over the plate.
No, I feel you. But do you think human error should be such a big part of the sport?
Yes, because it's humans playing it. It's always been, boo, hate the umpire, 3 blind mice. You always have to, it's like when the Raptors lost yesterday when the streak was broken, 15 games is incredible. Somebody was saying, well, blame the refs. Well, you know what? Blame the refs or blame the Raps for maybe tired.
Yeah, they did not look good.
Yeah, so, you can't blame the refs. Sometimes human error is important to make it. I mean, I'd rather know if a plane crashes, it was because of pilot error than that there's something wrong with the entire line of planes that we're getting onto.
I never thought of that angle.
I'd rather think one guy woke up, hungover, didn't do what he was supposed to do, bang, as opposed to, didn't you know that all the bolts on are tight and anybody's plane could go down? In fact, we expect more planes. Human error works best.
No, I like that. I like the human anger. Okay, I've got a big question I'm very interested to hear your opinion on. Is Colin Kaepernick a hero?
To me, he is. I have a friend of mine, good friend in Winnipeg, Patty Doyle. We argue back and forth. He goes, he wasn't. He was a taxi squad quarterback at best, which is not true. I'm not one of these people that think that he can still come back and play in the NFL now after, 3 years not playing. But he took a stand. And, some can say, well, he only took the stand when he wasn't going to be a starter anymore. He could have still, the Bears were looking at some guy that retired they're trying to bring Cutler back after retirement, and he was no good in that. So I think, when we live in a day and age when very few athletes stand up for anything. It's not like the days when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Muhammad Ali or Jim Brown would step up for something. So I think I'd rather read about that as opposed to somebody getting busted driving while coked up, or somebody slapping a waitress that spilled a drink, or any of the other things that the scandal that professional athletes can fall into. I love a cat with a consciousness.
I hear that exactly. I like someone who has a consciousness, who's trying to make change. But how did you handle, because a lot of white people who want to say bad things about Kaepernick but don't want to sound like they're being prejudiced or racist, they'll say things like, well, he said he didn't vote. He said it was hypocritical to vote. Why
That's
would
his
he?
Choice. People died for the right to vote, and they also died for the right for you not to have to vote. Voting is not compulsory. So if he wasn't happy with any of the candidates or didn't think any of them were the answer, if he said, he had the attitude, I forget who just pinned it now, but let's not sit here arguing about which one of these are the better slave owners. So that's the attitude that he's adopted. So I got to give him points for that. Some people say, well, why not do it off the field well, you don't pay attention off the field. You don't care, but when your game is affected or delayed, then all of a sudden it's like with the Aboriginals that are blocking the train lines now. If they weren't doing that, nobody'd even care about what was happening or the issue. And then people say, well, that's not going to help your cause. When you say that, that tells me that you weren't sympathetic towards their cause to begin with. So I think it's a great thing that Cap did. What I did love, though, was when he was still kneeling and there were players that were scared to kneel, but they stood next to him. It's like, yo, dog, I'm with you, but I can't. I'm barely made the team. I can't kneel with you, man. I don't want to wind up in the CFL returning punts in Saskatchewan. Okay, so I'll just bow my head with you. So he had players that supported him, but they weren't about to put their income on the line. And this guy did. And then Nike, they embraced him. Nike is a big corporation. You could say they make, they have children making shoes. I think a lot of kids need to earn their allowance, but the point is, the big corporate America still embraces him despite, because he is a hero, despite what the naysayers may say.
Football needs heroes because they have a lot of criminals.
Yeah, and that's not even the Raiders. Once upon a time, you couldn't be a Raider unless you had a criminal record. And now you can be on any of the team. I was happy when the Kansas City Chiefs won. And then I read that their quarterbacks supported Zimmerman shooting Trayvon Martin. So I'm going, wow, doesn't that one suck big apples when you're not paying close attention to what your heroes are saying? I tried to give the guy a break because his dad pitched for the Cubs and the Blue Jays, but he was under 500.
He was under 500. And if you look, how could a 23-year-old superstar quarterback be balls deep in such a nasty looking chick, man? I don't. If I was Patrick Mahomes, man, I'm gonna have to jerk and choke about that later tonight. Would I be able to hook up? I can't believe how heinous and annoying his girlfriend is. But
at least when he's caught doing a Tiger Woods, you'll have an idea why.
Yes. I will definitely know why. I'll definitely know why. You heard about the Ohio State situation.
Yeah, 2 players are accused of kidnap and rape, which the kidnap is a whole different angle. I haven't had a chance to really look into it much, but they're not even in the NFL yet. They're pro football ready by doing that, but but college football players been getting a walking pass with that for years. So when you consider how many players have had those kind of charges, or they've been shielded, I mean, even in the NHL, they're always charging, or every town has a junior hockey team where they have a puck bunny, as they like to call the girls that hang out with the teams, or not even that, but a girl gets 3 or 4 guys, maybe against her wishes or against her ability to say no because she's been had too much to drink, and the town and the locals, they sweep it under the rug because it's hockey.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it? Was it Lemieux that kept one woman occupied while his buddy raped a girlfriend in the adjoining room, and the other guy was cut? I think maybe, but this goes back 15, 20 years. So I mean, the NHL, they as much as Hollywood and as much as any other sports thing, they were always able to sweep this kind of thing under the carpet.
No, I hear you. It's a long-standing thing in this country of that happening with the hockey players, for sure. Robert Allen in the house, Gertwar, Hashani, Viper MB, Rocco, Trotwam. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm here with Canadian comedy legend Kenny Robinson. So let's talk about the color barrier in hockey. We have Willie O'Ree break the color barrier in 1958. The difference.
I think he only had one eye when he was playing too.
Yeah, he'd hit that. No one knew that.
Yeah, well, they wasn't gonna let We're sorry. We require that all of our Negroes have 2 eyes to play in this league. So he couldn't let it be known that he had one eye, and he broke the color barrier. But there was just a great my friend Kwame Mason has been doing a lot of things. He made the film Black Ice, a documentary on black hockey, and he was with the NHL. They have a Black History Month bus that's touring across North America, and I was lucky enough to go see it last week when it was at the Harry Gary Arena. And Herb Carnegie, who I've met a couple of times, he's even a greater story than Herbie. I mean, Herbie was the first to break it, but Carnegie. Carnegie, he was the player that played in Quebec with Jean Beliveau, and Beliveau said this man was just as good as myself or anybody else in the league. He's the one that the owner of the Maple Leafs said, I'd pay $1 million to anybody that could invent a pill that would turn you white. Well, how's that supposed to make you feel at the end of the day? So I wish Toronto was more involved. I mean, we've got some great players of black background that come from Toronto that would love to see him in a Leafs uniform. Wayne Simmons, Scarborough kid, gotta love him. Drop the mitt, scores some goals every now and then. I love it when they threw the banana at him in London at the exhibition game right before he took the penalty shot. And what did he do? He put the puck in the net. That's old Jim Brown way of silencing your critics. P.K. Subban, after they traded him from Montreal, I remember Don Cherry, who loved him, but said he was uppity, and with the high-fiving that he used to do with Carey Price, they didn't like that kind of flamboyance, and so they traded him. So what did he do? He still stuck to his promise and to his pledge that he was going to raise $1 million for the Sick Kids Hospital in Montreal. So he went and did that. Now he's with the Devils. So, it's unfortunate that the things didn't land out in Nashville, but he tried to be a good citizen and a good player while he was in Nashville. I thought it was interesting when he was with Team Canada, he won the the North Award for the best defenseman the year before, but when it was Olympic time, he got no ice time. They said because of his offensive chances that he was a risk. Well, how can a guy go from being the best defenseman in the league to not playing in this tournament that everybody's tuned in for? So things like that make you go,
No, I hear you. It's always been a part of hockey. It's always been a part of hockey because when Willie O'Ree came in 1958, there was not another black player in the NHL till 1974.
It was Marshall, right?
Marson, yeah.
I met Val James the other night, who apparently I'd met before, and I remember when they brought him up to play for the Leafs, and basically they brought him up to drop the mitts. And I won't tell you the nicknames that the people I was watching the game with were yelling with excitement when they stepped on the ice. Number 28, he had it before Domi. But, they called him the the big nig. Okay, that's what we said. And they go, wait, the big nig's on the ice. And they go all excited because the big black man, he's maybe like 5'8", 5'9", maybe 5'10". But, but at the time, the reputation and just the fact that the black boogeyman was stepping on the ice, that they were expecting him to just drop the gloves and go slap shot on everybody. And he's very soft-spoken.
Danny Menlo has a question in the chat. Danny saying, what does Kenny think about the Don Cherry debacle? What do you think of Don Cherry getting fired for saying,
you people, those people, us people, know you're talking about those people. I've been called worse than those people. I was sorry to see Don Cherry go, but his time had come. Saturday night, hockey night in Canada is like dating your sister's best friend without him. You tune in out of habit, but it's missing. It's gone. They can do all the highlight, profiles and everybody they want. But myself, as well as some other people, we tuned in every Saturday night to hear what he was going to say. Was he going to push the envelope? It's too bad that, Don just didn't, pass away in the summer at his cottage, and they could have taken him out on his shield. Sure. And then everybody would have said, man, I didn't always agree with him, but he sure never held back what he thought. So, and hey, despite everything else, Don Cherry told the defenseman not to block your goaltender, not to stick your stick in front of trying to block a shot, because that, he was all about watching the corners, the defenseman racing back for an icing, getting nailed and getting clipped. He was all about the hits from behind. So he wasn't wrong always.
No, he wasn't wrong always.
And I think he was a great part of Canadiana, and it's unfortunate. But, I mean, the guy's worth millions, so, I mean, he's okay. But yeah, we know there is a code when you said those people and milk and honey. See, like when you said they come here, they enjoy our milk and honey. But when Merle Haggard wrote "Fight Inside of Me," one of the lines was, "They love our milk and honey, but they preach." But so anytime you hear somebody say milk and honey, you're basically saying they're living off our welfare. They're taking everything we've got, but nothing to offer, nothing to give. So Grapes was a dinosaur.
Yeah, he was a dinosaur. I'm happy to see him out.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm happy to see him out. I was done.
Yeah,
I was just done.
Yeah.
But I like your angle on.
He loved Jerome McGinley.
I love your angle on going on your shield, and
yeah.
I don't think he was bad for hockey. I think it was time. But you're right. It's boring now. It's boring.
Plus,
now.
he was kind of like the white uncle that I never had. That I never had a relative that was a member of the Legion, and could say all these terrible things, and you roll your eyes at the dinner table and you let him slide, or you make excuses to your friends when they hear him say something that was inappropriate. I never had one of those. So to me, Don Cherry was my white uncle.
Yeah.
Plus, the black players dressed better when he was on TV because they said, "Well, look how sharp he is. I got to up my pimp game."
Yeah, no doubt. He and you are a sharp dresser yourself. When you were on stage, you got to catch Kenny Nubian Disciples of Prior. It's the last Sunday of every month at Toronto Yuck Yucks.
Yep. Next one is February 23rd, and then March is going to be the March show is going to be the Jeff Just for Laughs showcase.
Cool.
So we're going to put our crew in front there and hope somebody gets a call to the show. And then April is going to be our 25th anniversary.
Oh wow, 25th! That's incredible. We got to put a bow on this show, but man, you spent your childhood in Winnipeg and Chicago.
Yeah.
And so for those of you who don't know, Winnipeg is what? How many hours north? 6 hours north? 8 hours?
Chicago is about a 10-hour drive.
10-hour drive?
Yeah, it's a 10-hour drive.
We, in the show, we would show a clip of, we talk about when we show a clip of the guy taking a dump in the planter at the mall. And that was our...
In Winnipeg?
Yeah, and that was our ode to Winnipeg. And that was the only thing that we had about Winnipeg. So what was the biggest difference before we put it in, of Winnipeg and Chicago growing up at the time?
Oh, everything. Race, fashion, music, food. I never, the whole time living in Chicago, I'd never seen a pierogi. And then I came to Winnipeg, and there, the high school I went to, they had pierogi day, and they were playing Ukrainian music the whole time during lunch hour. And everybody, you like your pierogies fried, you like them boiled. So, when you try something foreign, so I decided I like my pierogies boiled without the sour cream. So, and consider I was born on Ukrainian Christmas, that really should be an issue for me. The fashion was entirely different in Chicago in grade 9, grade 10. If you were a black guy and you wore jeans to school, they asked you if you were farming after after work, after school. You know, we dressed to impress. We came booted and suited, you know, platforms and baggies and the whole thing. Whereas in Winnipeg, if you wore corduroys with a plaid shirt, everybody would ask you if you were going to a wedding. So it was different from that, you know. And of course, the racial line, and then, you know, and you know, just a different. But then again, like in Chicago, I knew guys that said, "I swear, before I die, I'm gonna get me a white girl." Whereas in Winnipeg, that really wasn't an issue. They were plenty to meet. You know, not as segregated. You know, different levels of racism, but separate but equal sort of thing. So it was. I enjoy both. I mean, I love 40 below weather. I was up north in Nunavut this past weekend, and the other comics I was with, they were crying about it. But to me, it made me homesick. I miss 40 below. Because when I was a young man, I was 40 below, and there'd be booty calls to make, and you could walk in the blizzard. When you got to your destination, there was warmth. And I'd be a lot thinner if I just had a call here and there, all within walking distance of where I live now. Give me a snowstorm.
Kenny Robinson joining us, the Godfather of Canadian comedy, man. Thank you so much. Episode 2, Jimmy the Bag Show. Have a legend in the house. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
joining
so much,
us, my
Jimmy.
man. What a
Thank
treat
you.
it is to roll with
Look
you.
at all these hats.
What a treat it is to roll with you. Yeah, it's just some of them, man. It's
Got them Redskins there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we didn't even get into that.
Yeah, well, I buy my son Indians and Redskins and all that stuff that'll be banned one day, so he'll have it to sell to somebody at a later date.
He will. Quick back up on my action today in the NHL. Just 5 looks for me in the NHL. Just 5 bets here. Let's quickly go over them. I'm on the Coyotes -1, Islanders money line +125, Wild -1, under 6.5 at +105 in the Capitals Avalanche game, and the Ducks +101. In NBA, I'm waiting for that Celtics number to go up, and I'm tailing the taint play today. Stetson -1.5 and Northern Arizona +4. We've got no show without you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the Jimmy the Bag Show. Brooke Jordan, Mr. Gozer, Dave Burke, not applicable. Q Peso, Robert Allen, not applicable. Christopher Comatini, Ryan Kozlowski, all you guys, Prince of the City. Thank you guys so much, and big thank you to our guest, Kenny Robinson. We'll see you here live at the Dog and Bear every day, 11 a.m. Catch us tomorrow, episode 3 with Tim Steves in the house.
Oh my!
Tim Steves.
He's a card-playing fool and a hoop king.
Yeah, he is.
He loved them balls.
Much love, you guys. Talk soon. Thank you for watching.